Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to go over my nvidia filter settings. I had done this video for 2020 but with 2024 it looks completely different now. The lighting model is completely different, the clouds look different, so it definitely warrants for some tweaking to the nvidia filters settings. So I've selected this scene because I wanted to select an aircraft which is a little shiny so that I can adjust the details and stuff accordingly, and there's a significant amount of clouds up there, so we can adjust the lighting of clouds, and also there's enough ground to look at to make sure that we have some shadows going. Now, a couple of disclaimers: everyone's monitor is different, everyone is flying in different weathers, different configurations and whatnot. So I'm not saying that this is the best nvidia filter settings that you can use. I'm just saying that this is how these are the settings that you can optimize according to the weather, lighting, monitor settings to get a better look. So just a disclaimer before people start getting mad at me. And before getting into the settings, I would also highly appreciate if you could leave a like on the video, and if you could also subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and it helps keep me motivated to make these videos for you for free. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start looking at our settings. So I'll press Alt F3. By the way, if you have the nvidia app, make sure that you delete nvidia app and install GeForce Experience, otherwise you will not get the game filter panel, and even if you do, you will probably not get all the filters available. So anyway, first thing I've done is brightness and contrast. So my exposure is set to 0%, contrast is set to 15. MSFS 2024 still needs some high contrast, so I've set it to 15. I used to set it to 20 for 2020. Highlights set to 15, shadows 27 just for some darkness in the shadows, and then gamma is 0 because we don't have this problem in 2024 where it was just too blown out. So that's brightness and contrast. You can pause and set that up. For details, I have sharpen set to 10%. As you increase the sharpen value, you will see that everything gets a lot more defined on the screen. If you like that kind of look, you can go for even 100%. I don't like extremely sharpened look, so I go for somewhere in that 10 to 15% range. For clarity, you will see that it adds kind of a blur on all the edges. It kind of bleeds the color a little bit. It looks really cool, really nice effect. So I don't like to keep clarity at 100% because that completely removes that effect. I like to keep it at somewhere in that 70% range where there's a little bit of bleed, which is how I feel like my eyes see in real world. And HDR toning is set to minus 20% because if you go higher on that, you'll start to see that the scene starts looking very bright, and if you go lower, you'll see that the shadows and the dark colors are just too dark. So I want to get some of that effect, so I try to keep it in that 20% range so that the metal looks nice and dark and shiny, but then it doesn't take away from all the other highlights. For the bloom, it's very simple. If you go 100%, you're going to see that all your highlights now have a glow to it. We don't want that. I keep it somewhere in that 4-5% range. Somewhere in that 0 to 10% range would do a good job overall. And for the color, tint color is 0, tint intensity is 0. We don't need to add any tint. They have done a decent job at removing that orange tinge. It's still there. I would say it's still there, but you don't really need to use these two settings. For temperature, I've toned it down by minus 11. Remember, I used to tone it down by like minus 20 or minus 30 on MSFS 2020. It's not needed anymore. Just a tad bit of tone down on temperature is just good enough. And then with that, you can take down the vibrance a little bit as well, because I did see that 2024 is a little bit more vibrant. Again, this all depends on how you see the sim, how you see the environment. So there's a lot of variables involved. I just wanted to share my profile and the way I have tweaked it to make sure it looks good. And I'm sure you can use these settings and come up with your own profiles and post photos if you want on my Discord. Okay, so finally just a quick back-to-back comparison here. So this is how it looks like with all the filters off, and this is how it looks like with all my filters on. For me, it works in most of the situations, but maybe if it's really cloudy and overcast, you might have to tone down the shadows a little bit. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you guys will come up with your own profiles that make this sim look better than it already looks. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.